my friends. My name is Ed DeCosta, and I am a speaker, a corporate trainer, and an executive coach. And wearing all of those hats, I get a regular opportunity to talk to people about their level of performance and how they're achieving and how they're showing up and what they want to get done in a particular period of time. And more often than not, they think, okay, we're ready to talk about goals. And it is such a misunderstood term. So this lesson is really about purpose, priorities, and intentionality. I'm a fan of goals, but not at the beginning of the process. Goals come at the end of the process. Even worse than this blind setting of goals without real reflection at a deeper level are the New Year's resolutions. The New Year's resolutions, in a drunken fog of haze, I'm going to make a commitment, a lifelong commitment to change starting tomorrow morning. And of course, by January the 10th, the vast majority of people have started smoking again. They're eating the wrong things again. And it's just, it's a platitude and it really has no legs. Even if you do so-called SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, although I'm a fan of all those things, if you do it outside the context of the bigger picture, you're very unlikely to achieve your goals. So let's talk about purpose, priorities, and intentionality. It's about connecting with who you really are first. Now, folks, if you think this is unnecessary pre-work, you're mistaken. This is what is going to make it far more likely that you actually achieve the kinds of results that you want in your life. So think about your purpose. Who are you? What are you here for? What are the roles that you play in this life? For me, it's father, husband, brother, son, neighbor, coach, speaker, business partner, professor. And I could list many, many more. Friends, cousin, confidant, you name it. But in all of those roles that you play, how do you want to show up? What kind of a difference do you make? And think about the Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. We're all going to die. And if you're blessed with time to reflect on how your life has been, my experience and what I've heard from many others is you really fall into two camps. You're either going to be somebody full of regret or full of satisfaction. Now, you may have fear and anxiety with regard to death. That's not the subject that I want to talk about, but it's about the feelings that you have with regard to your life and your achievements. It's either regret, the woulda, coulda, shoulda, things you should have done, but you didn't take the time, you didn't forgive, you didn't ask for forgiveness, you didn't mend that relationship, you didn't take that risk when you had the opportunity, you were fearful and you just waited and you missed something and passed you by. Or you have a sense of satisfaction, not arrogance, not conceit, just a sense of satisfaction that you did the best you could. And that's a really, really great feeling. And I've heard this face to face in very emotional ways from people that are nearing the end of their life, a strong sense that they showed up in a positive way for themselves, for their families, and for others. So that's really the beginning of the process, is what is your purpose? Define it now. Write your own obituary. Write your own eulogy. I mean that literally. If you feel compelled to do it, write your own eulogy. What would you want people to say that's truthful? Not Ed was an all-star second baseman for the Boston Red Sox. No, actually, I wasn't. It'd be silly for somebody to say that at my eulogy. Although there's time for me, don't you think? Write your own eulogy. That, to me, is what helps people get in touch with their real sense of purpose. Now, your priorities, those are the things that you use in order to fulfill your purpose. For many people, it's their families, it's their faith, it's their fitness, it's their finances, it's their intellectual development, it's their emotional development, their spiritual health. It's all of those things. The so-called slices of the wheel of life, okay? Those are your priorities, and they typically show up in two or three places. The first place they show up is in your heart, in your feelings. You can just feel them. You can't tell anybody else what their priorities are. You can ask questions about it, but only that person, only you can define what your priorities are. They show up in your heart. They also show up in your checkbook and in your calendar. And I tend to, as a coach, focus on the calendar. Are you putting in your schedule those things that you say are your highest priorities? And if in fact you're not doing that, can you honestly, to yourself and to others, say that those are your priorities? You say your family is a priority. You say your fitness is a priority. You say your faith practice is a priority. You say that your work is a priority. Where do those things show up? Most people don't practice what they say, or don't practice what they preach. And then the final one, of course, is intentionality, with a clear sense of your purpose, why you're here, what your priorities are. What do you intend to do to get from where you are today, whatever level of performance you are, to the level of performance that you are aspiring to? And then you begin each day with a strong, strong sense of intention that in alignment with my values, my principles, my purpose, I'm going to execute these priorities today. And then, of course, you end the day with accountability, honest, in some cases, tough love, brutal honesty, accountability for how you did today. Was today a 10? Was today a 2 on a scale from 1 to 10? How did I do? And then, of course, do your preparations for tomorrow's, because, again, if you're blessed to wake up tomorrow morning, then you have an opportunity to do it again. So, folks, I hope you found this helpful. The main point is, don't just sit down with a blank sheet of paper and just start writing down goals, because it's, by and large, history shows us, a waste of time. But if you start instead with your purpose and then move through your priorities and into your intentions, then the goals will flow very naturally, and they'll have some why behind the what. They'll have some meat behind the sizzle, and you're far more likely to achieve the kind of results that you aspire to. Again, Ed DeCosta, I hope you found this helpful. Take care.